UK Islamic charities, anti-Semitic and sexist agenda exposed. One thing I love in the UK is the National Secular Society, because the National Secular Society do not stop exposing really bad Islamic charities in the US. Uh, they don't care. They're going after them and they're reporting them to the authorities left, right, and center. I love to see it. And they did it again. Okay, the National Secular Society, or NSS, has escalated its concerns about the Bedford Islamic Center after reporting it to the Charity Commission for its unsettling social media behavior. The UK-based Islamic charity, registered under the seemingly benign purpose of advancing religion, has been brazenly promoting anti Semitic and misogynistic ideologies. One post disturbingly advises Muslims to avoid pride and arrogance, which it claims is the way of the Jews. This, alongside other posts, such as one invoking a curse upon Jews and Christians, and another delineating women to derogatory categories, such as the chaste and childbearing woman, to the shackle placed by Allah upon who he wills. I'll get into that later. This paints a stark contrast of a picture of bigotry. Additionally, the center's platforms feature sermons by extremist preachers known for promoting violence against apostates and ex-Muslims and condemning homosexuality. Well, they do a lot more than condemning homosexuality. They promote ejection from rooftops. These revelations are causing a stir, highlighting a critical misuse of charitable status to propagate extremist views under the cover of religious advancement, thereby challenging the integrity of religious charity registrations. So, as a quick refresher, when you're registering as a charity in the UK, there are many things that you can say is your charitable purpose. And one of the charitable purposes is for the advancement of religion. And the National Secular Society has constantly brought up the fact that this advancement of religion charitable purpose is constantly used by religious organizations promoting things that are actually in violation of the terms of being a charity oftentimes, and explicitly promote harmful traditions, harmful practices, misogyny, uh killing apostates and blasphemers, etc. So they're overall, I mean, as the NSS, their position is that there should be no charitable purpose for the advancement of religion in general, because this is advancing religion. No, thank you. Um,
I mean, it
so
is when the religion is Islam,
yeah.
technically. Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is that in August, the UK government announced plans to treat misogyny as a form of extremism. And so since then, the NSS has been reporting Islamic charities that promote explicitly misogynistic stuff like wife beating, um, basically saying that women who refuse to have sex with their husbands are being cursed by God. Women who refuse sex with their husbands are, cursed and bad and they're going to be punished and all this stuff. Um, and then, of
I mean,
course, Article
isn't that,
434.
I mean, if you want to take that seriously, that should basically end Islam. I mean, the Quran promotes beating, wife beating. Sorry, I can't speak today.
Yeah.
Like this is a direct and clear message of the Quran and the Tafsir and the Hadith. If you want to be anti-misogyny, then that's the end of Islam. How are you? How is that? Like, I don't understand.
Like, look, I mean, I understand you, but I'm not expecting consistency
Right.
from the government or the charity commission. Um, so basically, one thing that was happening at the Bedford Islamic Center is that they were having this preacher who was coming and giving speeches. And one of the preachers was Abu Usama, who's this known extremist. And so, for example, he gave this sermon about the counter extremism program in the UK called Prevent. And he's saying that this is just the UK's effort to try to eradicate all Islam. They're like, "Oh, a counter extremism like program?" They're trying to eradicate Islam. Um, he
You see,
has
I can
openly
see why you.
promoted.
I could. I could see why you would think that somebody who's doing counterterrorism is here to end Islam. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, actually. But yeah, go ahead.
You know what? I get what you mean. um He has been filmed saying, okay, YouTube, these are not my views. I'm reporting on the views of other people for the purposes of education and awareness. He said, quote, take that homosexual man and throw him off a mountain. And, quote, whoever changes his religion from Al Islam to anything else, kill him in the Islamic State. He's also promoting anti Semitism, saying, oh, this is hysterical. Quote, you know, the Zionists, the protocol, the Zionists, the protocols in one of those protocols they said let's keep the people busy with sports and games, let's keep the people distracted with sports and games. That's why all those people make all that money. So he's of course referring to the bullshit conspiracy theory of the protocols of Zion and basically being like this is how they control the masses by distracting you with sports. um and after there was this other mosque, the Green Lane Masjid, that was going to be receiving 2.2 million pounds in a grant from the government. But when it was exposed that this same preacher was preaching at the Green Lane Masjid, they halted their 2.2 million pound grant because the NSS like told the government. It was like, you're giving the money to this mosque, like look at who's preaching there. Um he also, Bedford Islamic Center on their Facebook page, they warn of the dangers of music, which says it is haram, that music is haram, and that it associates music with shaitan. They also like advertise weekly sessions on black magic and jinns, and this is dangerous because of the practice of ruqyas, which is like an exorcism. And there have been people who have died in exorcisms in the UK, including children. In some
How do they
different
die?
cultural
What did they
practices,
do
it's
in the
basically
exorcism?
torture. Well,
Oh
there
yeah,
was
what
one
did they
really
do in the
famous case where this is crazy. In 2021, as part of a ruqya, an anesthesiologist put his partner, Kelly Wilson, into a coma and then induced a cardiac arrest. Now, that's a
what?
little bit of a outlier because I'm not familiar with the practice of putting people in under anesthetics during ruqya, but that
Is
just
this
goes to
done there?
show like how out of control this kind of practice can get.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
crazy. Um
By the way, if you're a Muslim content creator, is like you have an Islamic channel, if you talk about like one way to get a lot of views is to basically go talk about jinns and black magic. Oh, there's so much Muslim demand for that type of content on social media. If you go like find like how like in American TV you have ghost hunting TV series and shit like that,
yeah, or like
right?
psychics.
So yes, 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 yes. So on Islamic content creators, if they go look for black magic and jinn and exorcism and shit like that, that gets a lot of views. There's a lot of demand for that type of content.
What do you think is the craziest jinn stuff? I mean, I know you've seen in the Iranian Shia sphere, there's a lot of crazy jinn magic and Jewish magic beliefs. But what do you think is the craziest thing that you've seen kind of in a Western context?
Western context. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know what you mean by Western context, but the craziest one is the idea that if you are naked at any time,
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
jinn
I
might
was gonna
fall
say
in
this.
love with you. Yes, so that's why there are some people I know in Iran that take shower with clothes on, and we're talking like we have like a mullah, like a very ugly, old, wrinkly ass mullah, who I don't know if anybody would be attracted to him. Telling that he showers with his clothes on so that a jinn doesn't fall in love with him and start to molest him or grape him or anything like that, or because jinns could be anywhere, especially in the washroom. That's apparently where they love to be because they eat shit, um a lot of them. So if you are taking a shower and you're not wearing your clothes, you might actually tempt tempt a jinn, and then you're fucked because they're in love with you. So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, also, there are people who try to. There, like for example, there are girls who actually try to be sexy so that they tempt a jinn to fall in love with them. Because apparently, if a jinn falls in love with you, um, they bring you treasure. Because jinns apparently have been jinns age, they are a lot older than, like for example, a jinn who has lived for 500 years is like a baby jinn, right? Like it says baby. Okay, so and because they have been around for much longer, they've seen where other people have hidden their treasures throughout history, and a lot of these
Mm,
treasures are hidden and nobody knows where they are. So if a jinn falls in love with a human, to impress them, they go and tell you where these treasures are hidden. So sometimes people are try to on purpose seduce a jinn so that they could get that treasure. And then the other people were like, no, 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 don't do that, because yeah, you might get treasure, but then he's going to be so obsessed with you that the consequences of that is going to be so much higher. And then we have people who have gens sending them against your gens, like, so there's gen on gen fighting, you know what I mean? So they have their gens, you have your gen, and you have enslaved. Oh, there are people online teaching you how to make enslave a gen, and apparently
mm-hmm.
there are needles involved. I don't know how that works, but if you could enslave a gen, then you could get that gen to attack another person. Unless that person has his own gen, then your gen will be fighting that person's gen. And anyways, so there's a whole bunch of, yeah, these things.
Dude, okay, I've been looking for it, I've been trying to find like a Jin video right now, and there's this
Yeah.
one on Ali Dawa's channel, which is basically like quits porn over a gay Jin. So, look, I haven't been able to watch the full video, but
What?
I think this guy's saying like the Jin was trying to make me gay. Why are you gay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gay. Why are you
Alright.
gay? Oh my gosh, wait. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah,
Wait, let's go
there
find
are.
what
Oh,
oh,
can I just say something?
yeah.
There's some people who try to do Islam by the Sunnah instead of like all this exorcist, you know, because playing with jinns is considered seher. Seher means like sorcery, and sorcery is a sin in Islam, right? And if you have a problem with jinns, there are a lot of Muslims trying to come out and tell you what to do to fix the jinn problem you're having. But there are a lot of people who are traditional Muslims, and they're saying those ways that you're fighting the jinns are not the proper way because they are sorcery themselves. Like, you don't fight
Mm,
sorcery with sorcery. You have to fight source, because fighting sorcery with sorcery is going to cause more problems down the road for you. So you have to fight sorcery with Quran only, like with, but not with the power of sorcery, but with the power of Allah. Which I mean, for us atheists, that's also kind of like believing in your
sorcery.
own version of sorcery, but whatever. So a lot of Muslims are warning Muslims to not trust Muslims who are telling you, giving you tricks on how to fight jinns, and they tell you actually it's very simple. Just read these verses in the Quran every day in the morning. Ayatul Kursi. Just read the Ayatul Kursi, and you're fine. Just don't depend on other Muslims who try to charge you money to protect you from uh, jinns. Do not rely on other Muslims. Just rely only on Allah Azza wa Jal only. That's all you need. You need God, you need Allah and the Quran. So there are Muslims warning other Muslims not to trust out those Muslims. There's a lot of drama happening behind the
Well,
scenes.
and a lot of ruqyas involve like writing verses of the Quran on paper, like doing stuff with and putting it in ambulance, like all this. Oh, Armin's amulet.
Yes. No, this is my mom. When she was superstitious, she paid somebody in Iran a lot of fucking money, like a lot of money to. So this is the stone. These are Quranic verses written on a special stone
Wait.
to protect
Oh,
me
I can
from.
barely see it.
I don't know. It's not zooming in properly. these are okay. So there are Quranic verses written on this. So this is Seher. This is sorcery, basically. So she made me this, uh, and this was expensive to make, right? As a way to, and this is supposed to be like this is something that you put this, you put the string through
Yeah,
this,
like a necklace.
or you could put, you could tie it next to your arm or stuff like that, right? Anyways, so yeah, I mean that is not Islamic to do. This is people. This is like, I mean, it's Islamic because it's related to Islam, but it's un-Islamic because it's sihr, it's sorcery. You know, I have my magic books ready. Like I could like, I have my there. I have a lot of a PDF version, scanned versions of sorcery books on my computer somewhere if I could find them. I don't know if you guys want them.
Oh, those are so
Tam
cool. I
Tam.
love those.
Yeah, there are there are Jewish. So a lot of this sorcery, according to Islamic beliefs, comes from Judaism, right? So the best sorcery is in Islam, in Islamic context. Again, it's interesting because I say it's Islam, but it's anti-Islamic, but it's based on Islam, even though it's a sin in Islam, right? But a lot of this is considered, um, if you want to get the best stuff, you go to the Jewish version. So it's interesting because it's anti-Semitic, but also giving the Jews credit at the same time. So this is considered evil, right? But if you want to do evil, you go to the Jews. You know what I mean? So you basically, of it's a marketing tactic as well. So it's considered like sorcery, which is considered something very dirty and very bad. So if you want to do it, you go and do the Jewish version. That's how they see it.
They're like, yeah, I mean, we want the raw, uncut, powerful from the source.
Right. I could actually, can I show you some of this? Can should I show, do we have time to show?
Sure.
Okay, okay. Because I have these magical
It's very
books.
interesting. A lot of it looks very similar to the Keys of Solomon. I don't know if anyone has gone on a deep dive on the Keys of Solomon, but it reminds me of that.
Okay. Hold on, let me see if I could. Yeah. So I have Yahud, something of Yahud, if I could find it. Give me a second, please. Oh, here. Ken's Yahud. Yes. Okay, okay, okay. I got it. I got it. I got it. This is actually quite interesting. Guys, by the way, guys, I should be killed for even showing you this. Like these are books that were considered for the eyes of a very few people, and some people went and like people would kill to get these, and for other people not to have access to them, right? But now we have scanned versions of them, right? So you could see some Yahud. You could see that this is all based on Islamic sorcery, based on Jewish sorcery, right? So if you go, I don't know what these are. Like, I need somebody to come and explain all of this freaking crazy. Like, there are, I don't know. Let me see. There are like spells to make somebody in love with you. You have spells in. There are spells here on how to make somebody sick. There are spells on how, if somebody is making you sick with a spell, what to do. And it's very interesting because some of these spells, I can't remember, be more about. Look at, for example, so some of these spells really depend on what your name, the letter that your name starts with. Okay, the day of the week that you got sick. So for example, your birthday, the letters that your name starts with, the day that you got sick, the day that this happened. So it's a different spell. The spell changes based on these factors. So this is a spell on how to fix someone's illness. But like, look at all these. It's all based on Quranic verses. It's interesting because it's based on Quranic verses, but they are supposed to be Jewish spells, which I need somebody to come and explain this to me and how that works. Because it's based on Judaism, Jewish superstition that every letter has a magical power, right? So they
Yes.
took that
Like in
from
Hebrew, the
they are also
numerology and the Kabbalah.
yes, like a Kabbalah and stuff like that. But this goes on and go on. Look at this. Look at the numbers they associate with different verses, and they calculate based on the numbers that every letter is assigned with, which numbers to put here. It's a very complicated. And also, there's non-Jewish version of this. It's called Tam Tam, not to be confused with. Oh, never mind. Here, this one is also kind of weird. Let me show this one. I have so many of these books. Maybe one day we will find an expert to come and explain all of this to us. It goes on and on and on. Look at these
Yes,
spiritual
the drawings are
things.
my favorite part.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. I don't. Those wings are too small for this big fat guy to be able to fly. I don't know how that works. And there's another animal here. And you can see there's letters and there's numbers. Oh, what is this? Fire, fire, fire. Yeah, so there's a lot of spells. There's a lot of crazy shit. Again, I'm not supposed to be showing you guys this. I could like if there are people who, if they knew I'm showing you guys this, they would do everything in the power so I don't show you more. But anyways, so I have a lot of copies of this book. This is just that file that I just showed you has like how many pages are in that? Like 300 pages, 200 pages, and I have like 6 of these books, and I could get even more. Anyways, so that was that. I don't know if you guys find that interesting.
Oh, I love it.
It's a whole world of this nonsense out there.
Yeah. Same thing with Kabbalah. It's so complex. It's
Yeah.
so complex. Um,
Yeah. I mean, the complexity of it makes people think it's real. I think the complexity, because they make it so complex that once you get into that world, you think like there must be something to it. I mean, these people are experts. There's a lot of information. There's like, guys, you have no idea. There's like a lot of information and esoteric information that a lot of these people know by heart by so much detail, right? So they become experts in this field, and because of how seriously they take it and the number of books written about it and the amount of information that there is and the effort that they put in it and the complexity of it makes you think like, well, it cannot all be fucking nonsense. There must be something to it, right? And that convinces a lot of people that there must be something real behind all of this, or else this many people wouldn't be spending this much time and energy on it. That's
mhm.
how they get you. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Um, let's go through the social media comments and then we have super chat.
Abracadabra, pew pew pew.
Dude,
This
as
is
an American, I never understood why they didn't just have guns in Harry Potter.
right. They don't. Technology doesn't work around magic. How do you not know this? Technology doesn't work around magical. There's magical energy around.
Hit Voldemort with the blammy. Blocka blocka.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay, what is
um,
this here?
so this person is saying, fantastic, you were doing the Lord's work. Irony intended, meaning like the fact that the NSS has like, turned in this charity. It's ironic because they're
Mhm,
atheists. Um, and
mhm.
then the next one is saying, very concerning as a Bedford resident. Thank you for calling this out. Yeah, it's a
Oh,
huge problem. I don't
this
know
one.
how the National Secular Society just has their eyes everywhere. They just have their eyes
That's good.
everywhere.
Yes, yes. Guys, if you're in the UK, maybe consider supporting them. That's very good organization to have.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, we got 2 super
Um,
chats. Thank you guys.
oh yes. Infidel Avash is celebrating his membership for 14 months. Thank you, Avash. Saying, Armin, what is the equivalent of Avada Kedavra for them?
Okay,
Or
so here's an interesting thing. They never make it that simple, okay? Because you know how lawyers make a lot of money because it's complicated and we don't get what the fuck the different laws are and different codes are, and that's why you have to give them shit ton of money to be able to translate that to like basic English. And also people in finance make a lot of money because there's a lot of things that sometimes it's complicated, sometimes they make it unnecessarily even more complicated to be able to charge you more money, right?
to
So
gatekeep.
within this world also, yeah, within this world nothing is as simple as, you know, avacadabra and the guy is dead. Okay, because these people need to be experts in this field. Then it needs to be very complicated to be able to, for you to be able to inflict. You know, you need to hire a jinn, and you need to go and get that like snake bone, and then get that freaking needle, and get that thing, and come and then get a copper like plate and write something in it, and then go and put that hair of that person on next to the grave of so and so person overnight, and then, you know, at some point something happens. Put a comb of the lover of that person down that specific well over there. So yeah, it's a whole bunch of shit for you, and then you have to pay the person a whole bunch of money to tell you all of this stuff. And
I went
also
down
he
the
will
rabbit
worry
hole of
that
finding a
it might
bunch of
backfire.
Islamic spells on Etsy. I found a bunch of Islamic spells and amulets and keys on Etsy, and they're
Right.
expensive.
Right. Right.
Hundreds of dollars for like a paper cutout of a key that has some writing on it.
That's interesting. Yeah. Oh,
And like rings and rings because there's different jinns for different things. And like some jinns are like king jinns. I went down a whole wormhole of this and of Kabbalah a few months ago. It was very interesting. Um, Gajan also gave a super chat. Thank you, Gajan, saying Mufti Armin, is it sorcery to turn Quran into binary and then into DNA and then and then to your telomeres? I don't know how to pronounce that with CRISPR. Telomeres are not protein
that
coding.
that is not sorcery, because it's everything that is you're describing is happening within the material world. So none of it relies on this supernatural. So supernatural forces, everything you're describing does not rely on supernatural forces, so it wouldn't be considered sorcery. Hmm.
And
I
Amit
think
gave
I'm
a super chat. Thank you for the 30 shekel super chat, Amit. Saying, according to myth, if you start studying the Kabbalah before you're ready, you'll go mad. And the first guy to read the Zohar without going mad is Rabbi Yanuka. I think
yeah
you
telling
might go
people.
crazy just because it is obsessively detailed and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, that's one method of explaining that how sophisticated a text is by claiming that if you like things will happen to the what, how do you say that word,
Uninitiated.
uninitiate. Yes, but that's a way to brag about the epicness of certain text by saying like, oh, like if you touch this, if you do this, you know how, like, for example, there's in if you're in chefs, there's the type of fish that if you don't cook it in the right way, if you're not a professional, it could kill you. What's that
Yeah.
fish? Is that puffer fish or what? Yeah. So this is kind of like that. Like, oh, this is like if you are not so they basically don't want just average random people to basically pick up this text and just go do whatever they want with them. You have to pay the professional. Okay, this is our market, this is our um money making business, so you have to
Hmm.
be very. So yeah, like, don't think like you could just go and pick up. This is basically what like the Catholic Church was doing to people with the Bible, right? Like now the Bible is all over the place, you can't do it with the Bible. It used to be like people shouldn't be reading the Bible, the priest should read the Bible. You guys don't know
Yeah.
what the fuck you're reading. So
Well, and
now
traditionally,
basically
Kabbalah
these
is
sorcerers
completely secret.
right, right.
Um, okay, so we do need to go to the next story, but actually Nike reminded me of something. Nike is saying, Armin, are you going to do a stream on AP's conversion to Christianity? And that actually reminded me that I have something important to say about this. So basically, um, I it's natural that like our community would ask about our reaction to this. If those who are not familiar, Apostate Prophet has initiated the process of joining the Orthodox Church. It's not something that you just say you do and then you do. It's like a very long process. Um, and so it's not even official yet. Regardless, he publicized his intention. And so basically, I want to put it this way. And this is something very important that I actually want to teach our audience, which is you will learn a lot about a group based on how they treat people when they leave. This is one of the most important things that you can understand about a group or about a collective that represents an idea or whatever is how do they treat someone when they leave? Please remember this and observe that behavior. And because you can see when it's toxic and you can see when a group behaves in a way that is destructive towards the creativity and flourishing of an individual and of a person. For example, what happens to ex-Muslims when they leave? This is a classic example. It's not good. The punishment is death or ostracism or abuse. I mean, to flee a country. Um, Another example, what happens to detransitioners when they transitioned and then they find that that's no longer good for them and they detransition from that medical procedure and then they come out about their experience. How are they treated? They're met with a lot of abuse oftentimes. That is that illustrates something, right? That behavior is illustrative. And so my attitude towards Apostate Prophet is informed by that knowledge. For many people who are part of the atheist community, a lot of them are probably sad or maybe disappointed that AP is kind of leaving that group. But for me, it's important that no one demonstrates animosity or anger or abuse or ostracism towards him because that is antithetical to his flourishing as a person, right? And I'm someone that has always admired AP. I respect him. He has really um like changed my life actually in many ways. I wouldn't be doing what I do now if it wasn't for AP. I consider someone that him a friend and I want him to do well. So if that's something that he feels within his life will help him flourish as an individual, I want that for him. I want what's best for him. And if we were to had a conversation about faith, if we had a conversation about the evidences for God or Christ, we would probably have some big disagreements, right? But that doesn't mean that we can't be friends. And so that's kind of the behavior that I want to model for our community is to not treat people that leave our group, so to speak, with disrespect and abuse and or the classic accusations that I don't know, Muslim, you were never a Muslim, you were never an atheist, blah blah blah. That's toxic. It's not fruitful, you know? So you know, uh, the same way that we feel about AP in general, like we wish him the best. And so I don't feel like there's a need personally for us to do a whole stream dedicated to going over um that, you know? Um
but
that's
but
kind of
it's a
how I
good
feel.
opportunity. But it's a good opportunity to show how it's done. That the ease of exit, right?
Yeah.
The ease of exit to demonstrate that. I mean, this was pointed. I mean, I learned this from Susanna, by the way. I didn't realize how great of an opportunity this is to show, to demonstrate that how we treat people who leave, something that we consider a community, right? I mean, he's still in the anti-Islam community. Obviously, he's always gonna be there. But I don't know, in the atheist, agnostic, whatever community, leaving there, like how do we treat people who leave that? You know, are we gonna? I mean, one of the most important, Susie, you know more about cults than I think most of us here, but one of the most important metrics to see if you have turned into a cult or not is the ease of exit.
A
Is that
hundred
correct? Like,
percent.
right, right. And or how toxic a community is, and that also shows how toxic Islam is, because is
Yeah.
that it has it has one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult, exits, of Islam, right? I mean, that's also why woke ideology is considered to be a cult, because they make it very difficult for you to leave, right? But I mean, it's not, by the way, guys, when we say make it easy to make it like continue supporting the person, that doesn't mean we agree.
Yeah.
But here's another thing we can demonstrate. Not making agreement a condition for friendship, right? Like, are me and Susanna are anti-Christianity, and I don't think Apostate Prophet requires other people to be pro-Christianity for him to be friends with people, and we don't require people to be against religion for us to be friends with them. We're not going to back down on our views against religion as a whole, but we could still be, but that doesn't matter when it comes, we could still be friends with people who are, we're friends with Christians. We have a lot of Christian friends.
Oh yeah.
They might be against atheism, we are against Christianity, and we get along. It's just our views. We are, just because we're against a certain ideology, that doesn't mean we are against the people who believe in that. In fact, I appreciate religious people being against atheism, but not being against atheists, for example, because that shows they care for a, like, if a religious person is against atheism but not against atheists, well, then that person is against atheism because maybe they care for my eternal soul or whatever,
Yeah.
wrongfully, but they, it shows some appreciation and care for me, right? So it's fine for us to be against each other's ideas, as long as that doesn't make us turn against each other individually. And we love AP. We continue supporting AP. AP is doing a lot of great work. I mean, not that he needs our support, to be honest. We're but yeah, we will support him regardless of him needing us or not. He's doing
Hmm.
great work, and whether he's a Christian, agnostic, or atheist, he will continue doing that great work. And whatever he does, we just hope that he finds way to be happy and at peace.
Yeah. That's what we want.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm assuming that at some point AP will see this probably because someone will probably send it to him. Hi AP. Hope you're doing well. Say hi
hopefully.
to your family.
Yeah, hopefully. Send this to. Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that that was like an important message to communicate. Yeah.
Right.
Um uh okay. Oh, and Kenny just gifted 5 Atheist Republic memberships. Thank you so much,
Well,
Kenny.
thank you, guys. We're at 240 members. We're trying to get it to 1,000. Once we get to 250, we could say we're a quarter way there, right? So get us to 250, because once we get to 250, then we're going to get motivated to get to 500, right? And then
Mhm.
eventually to 1,000. So thank you for being members. If we get to 1,000 members, then we're going to be completely financially secure. So thank you for all the memberships.
Mhm. Sketch saying you don't act like the atheist. You just have the title. I have found no atheist as understanding as you do. Not exactly sure what that means, but thank you.
Wait,
I'm
you
just
think
being me. Okay. Uh,
so you
um,
think, like, to be good, to be understanding of other people, that's anti-atheistic behavior. Okay, that's what he's saying. Interesting. Okay. Oh,
hey, well,
Kenny
if I
just
can
got
challenge
10.
your assumption, I'm happy to do so. Okay, that's what I think.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
Um,
Yeah.
oh my god,
Oh,
and
and
Kenny
also,
just gifted another 10 Atheist Republic memberships. Damn,
oh,
Kenny, thank
oh,
you.
Oh, guys, Nima is here, which reminds me, I should give you
Nima,
guys.
salam.
I should give you guys Nima's email because anybody who wants to volunteer for us,
But doesn't
with
he
editing.
handle stuff on the
Oh.
Persian side only?
No. Anybody who wants to volunteer, like if people want to volunteer by highlighting comments during the stream, contact on the English side. Email Nima. This is Nima's email. It's also in the description. Okay.
Mhm.
Email Nima and say that you want to volunteer for us. Okay. So thank you for that. We need volunteers to highlight the comments when I'm doing streams. Okay. Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.